Enough coffee. Always makes me feel like he doesn't think the beginning is important.
It is not. Well, he's afraid of stuff that gets shared and he doesn't want that on the record.
He doesn't want Ryan's dad jokes to be out there for everybody to see. All right. We have this week, tomorrow at PAR is the chili cook-off, and Thursday here at Revolution is the tech workshop. Does anybody want to talk about the tech workshop? I don't know. Melissa's on vacation. Tania, can you pass the box?
Disney, as I recall.
Thursday's tech shop is going to be about showing time. So showing cart, showing time, how it works, all the new stuff that's going on with it. So 1 o'clock, and I will send out a Zoom link in case you cannot be in the market center.
And Friday is business planning clinic. If anyone has not registered for business planning clinic, but they know that they're coming, feel free to put it in the chat and we will make sure we have noted that you are going to be there. We are providing lunch, so we do kind of need a head count because it'll be awkward if you come and don't have a lunch.
In the emails you've been getting, there is an RSVP link. All you have to do is go in, click that link, put your name in. There's no cost to you. With the exception of about 30 seconds. It will cost you a few minutes of your time.
But then you get to spend the day with us on Friday.
For sure.
So,
There is a Capra call tomorrow. I'll host that from Austin. I am headed to Austin this afternoon, but I'll be ready for that tomorrow morning.
next Wednesday is grants and special financing at PAR, and Mira's CE is the 31st and the 1st. So if you're doing your CE in person at Mira, make sure you get signed up for that. Reminder, business planning clinic is 9 to 4 in this room. We will not Zoom business planning clinic. I did get a question about that. Nobody wants to sit on a Zoom with BJ and I from 9 to 4. So keeping you guys hostage for an hour once a week is, I feel like, plenty, and Zoom would be a long day. So only here in the Market Center. Jesse?
Chili cook-off is next Tuesday. Denise's very excited to eat chili. That QR code will take you to, if you want to make a chili to compete, there will be prizes for the top 3 chilies. And yeah, have your chilies in by 11:30.
All right. Make sure the holiday party is on your calendar.
6 to 10.
I'm just
No?
not changing it now. I'm just not gonna do it.
Well, we might as well just change the times. Why don't we?
Right? December 9th. Make sure you've got this on your calendar, December 9th. Bold starts tomorrow. No, today's Tuesday. Thursday starts Thursday. Steve was with us last week and kind of did a run through of what to expect from Bold. It will be 9 to 2:30 at Jupiter at the crossing or on the crossing. So first step is free. So if you just aren't familiar with Bold and you'd like to make the trek over to Champaign and just see what it's all about, you can go to First Step free. No, you don't have to sign up for anything. You can just check it out and decide if you think that's something you want to do every week for the next 7 weeks.
It's worth, even if you are familiar with Bold, it's worth doing that first step. There's a lot of stuff that shows up fresh for me and just a refresher right as I hear that first day. So if you've got any time on Thursday, that's worth the trip.
Yeah, absolutely. We were just talking this morning about a positive mindset in this market and how much energy we feel like it's taking right now. Bold is not for everybody. I'm not going to be the one that shoves Bold down everybody's throats, but I've been through it 4 times, and there is something to everything you learn in Bold. There's something to the mindset, to the activities, to going back to the basics. I'll pick on Ryan for a second because I know he's been through Bold 1,000 times and then got away from KW and came back. And when you hear, was it last week? What were we talking about that Ryan said? And we're like, those are the things we talk about in Bold. Some of the scripts.
He had a for sale by owner script he was going through that I remembered also from Bold, right? So I don't know if that's where he learned it, but
But there are some of those foundational things that you will use for the rest of your career
When-
that you can learn. And
We have the benefit of sitting in this training room, right? And I look at this bold wall when we sit up here in the front room. It has all of the, whatever there are, 50 or different phrases. If you've been through bold, you've learned every one of these. And so there's not a single one of them I can't throw out there and you're going to go, oh yeah, I know that one, right? Do what you've always done and get what you've always gotten. Most of you will recognize as a bold law. If you don't, I'm telling you, it's worth your time to go to bold.
It is. At least go Thursday and check it out. Kind of meet Steve. I was impressed by him. I've only met him the one time, so the Champaign office has a little bit more familiarity with him and they really like him. So I think he'll be a great coach.
Yep.
All right, here's just your weekly license renewal reminder. So be working on your CE. There's a website there if you need to go look up your CE. Just remember, if you do it from, I know you all get inundated with emails of where to do CE. That people have sales and discounts on online classes. If you do it through someplace that is not affiliated with IR, you have to manually upload your course records to this portal to make sure that they have record of you completing your CE. You also need to send it to the board office. So if you do it through somewhere other than CE shop or an association office, you're likely going to need to send it in.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to talk a little bit today about what to expect on Friday. Do you want to start? You want me to start?
I'll start because I'm going to talk a little bit about goal setting. And I think it's interesting as we started talking about bold. Did you hear Megan started to remind us about how tough this market is? Anybody having a tough market? It may feel like they've had a tough year. You're not listening, just not participating. Is either one? A lot of us would tell you that we've had a tough year. In fact, it's the exception of us probably that would say that we've had a very successful year. Now, I want to relate our success a little bit to our goals. Did anybody set goals in 2022? Did anybody set a 2023 goal? I did. How well did we do? Tania, you want to be put on the spot?
We did, I did.
You didn't what? You didn't set a goal.
I set my goal today.
Didn't achieve it. Megan, you set a goal? You achieve it?
Not all of it. Parts of it,
I don't-
not all of it.
I want you to hear that.
Yeah.
I don't ask her that question or Tania that question because that's a criticism of them or any kind of a judgment. That's a reality. I think there's a lot of us sitting in this reality right now that say 2023 just didn't turn out the way that I thought it was going to turn out. So I can take ownership of that, or I can make excuses for that, either one. I'm just looking at that reality right now saying, hey, it just didn't turn out. Now, Megan and I had a little conversation earlier this morning. And we were talking a bit about these goals and about kind of how our year was progressing and what's left. And we kind of landed on the conclusion that the next 6 months are probably going to be harder, not easier. Anybody agree with that? You may disagree with that. Please disagree with me because I would love a little encouragement. So that leads me into this conversation with myself about goals, because one of the things that I've struggled with recently in terms of setting goals is why bother? Why should I set goals if the market's just going to be hard? Why should I set a goal that says I'm going to go grow next year and I'm going to go create all this production? I'm going to go create all this net worth and buy investment properties and do all of these things when you know what? The market's going to suck anyway. It's going to pull all the life out of me. Why bother?
Everybody was like that, so if you actually said, oh, you know,
Say that into the microphone, please.
Yeah, I was thinking, everybody's thinking that. So if you're the exception, then you might be the one that's actually reaching for your goal. Because everybody thinks, oh, it all sucks.
We were reminded yesterday at the leadership retreat that they're expecting at least a 10% fallout still in renewals. So that, imagine 10% of us going away, that leaves an opportunity in market share. And then there's going to be another at least 10% of agents that just hibernate through this market.
Yep.
So I'm going to argue there's 20% of market share that's up for grabs for whoever's willing to work the hardest. And I think Keller Williams did it right in this Thrive 25 campaign, that it's exhausting just to think about the next 6 months, but it's more inspiring and motivating to think about the next 18 to 24 months, because we know that the market will shift. And looking at our activities over the next 6 months, we always say we're in a 90-day business. We might not be in a 90-day business right now. We might be in a 6-month or 12-month business. You're going to be generating leads right now that may not convert for another year, but we know that the market will shift. It will pick up, and that's not the time you want to start acting on your goals.
There's a mind shift that just happened here in this conversation. And I don't know if you heard it, but we went from this kind of scarcity thinking of, oh my gosh, right, the sky is falling, the market's changed, and what are we gonna do? All of a sudden you hear Megan talking about opportunity. I heard Tania talking about it. She says, hey, you know what? If I'm the one that's actually setting the goals and everybody else does what they've always done, I'm gonna win. And you hear Megan talking about it going, hey, if I just hold on just a little bit longer, if I can outlast this thing for 6 months, guess what? There's a big win on the backside of that. So we have this challenge right now. Either we can pause for a minute and decide what that opportunity is going to be for us, what our destiny is in real estate, or we can sit back and just take it as it comes and go, okay, right, just throw up our arms and say, hey, the market is the market. I'm just going to roll with it. Which do you want to be?
As we're thinking about setting goals this year, I think it's also an opportunity to get a little bit unconventional with our goals. Maybe this year is more wealth building goals for you. When the market changes, there's a lot of opportunity to invest. If that's something that you aspire to do or you already do, often when the market slows down, it's a good opportunity to pick up some rentals. So maybe this is a wealth building year for you, not necessarily a production year. But those are the things we want you to start thinking about before Friday.
Before Friday. That's the important thing, right? All of this is just ahead of Friday. So there is an importance of pausing. You mentioned investment properties. I know there's still agents on this call that are talking about teams and have the desire to go, hey, if I had 4 agents or 5 agents, if I could just run a small team, what would it look like? There are huge opportunities in the market right now because there are agents getting out of the business because they don't know how to do this for themselves.
Yeah, there are agents that produce maybe $1 million a year that know how to sell real estate, but maybe they're not selling enough to make it worthwhile. Maybe they're looking at a part-time job. Maybe they're looking at their dues bill and going, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay this? Maybe they're just looking for more support, more motivation, more inspiration, more structure, more guidance, more coaching. But there's so much opportunity to grab good, ethical, solid agents that are looking for a different setup that I think will migrate to teams in this
Yeah,
market.
for what it's worth, that did not exist a year ago. Do you remember that when everybody a year ago, when you had more leads than you could deal with, you wanted all these team members so you could give that stuff away?
Mhm.
Nope, not anymore. They didn't want anything to do with you then. Now they do.
Right.
What other things are you dreaming about? What opportunities do you see coming up in the market?
I love this question. If you went to BJ and I's goal setting retreat training last year, this was one of the things that we talked about to do with your teams. If today was December 31st of 2024, what would have to be true for you to say that this was the best year yet? I hope all of you can answer that before Friday. That can be monetary. That could be a new car. That could be a trip. That could be the size of, and look of your team, that can be,
It can be time and schedule, right?
time,
Hey,
yeah.
I wanna be home by 5 p.m. every day, or I don't wanna come into the office till 9, or I'm no longer working on the weekends. Didn't Amber say she's getting a full-time job?
No,
Um,
I mean, you don't want to work on the weekends. It might not be the right job.
The deal is we have to sit with ourselves for a minute and go back and remember and get that vision back for, this is who I want to be at the end of 2024.
once we've started to answer that question, obviously, as we're doing goal setting, we have to be able to put some number around what gets us there. And we're gonna talk about a lot of numbers on Friday. We're gonna go through it step by step with you. So if you absolutely hate the economic model, we're gonna go through it very slowly
Yeah.
on Friday, but there's a little bit of prep that we can do that's gonna make goal setting more accurate for you.
Yeah, here's what happens, right, with Business Planning Clinic that makes it just a little bit backwards from most trainings is we don't care about how many houses you sell necessarily, right? I mean, we do, but we care more about the amount of money that you're going to make at the end of the year. So we're going to start with this kind of net profit goal. And here's this worksheet gives us a good way to get there.
Okay, I'm going to put in the chat this file that you guys can grab. And this is fillable, so hopefully it's fillable in the format that you guys get it, and I'll email it out too after the call, so everybody in the room can get it. But this is a great one-page prep worksheet that you guys can use to start thinking about goals for next year. So the first part of this is for the best results, complete these before attending. So please don't try to do this on Friday because we're going to use this to build from. But your numbers. These are all numbers. We're going to show you where to grab these from. Some of them you're going to have to do a little bit of math on. The amount of money I need to pay for my lifestyle and get out of debt. This is the number that everybody goes, oh my gosh, I don't even know where I would start.
Well,
I'm
and they're not mutually exclusive, right?
Right.
Because part of the problem is the amount of money I need to pay for my lifestyle.
Right.
If I have debt, I probably don't have enough money yet to pay for my lifestyle. So some of these are working against each other.
Well, and some debt is good and some debt is not. So if you've got 10 rental properties, we're not necessarily looking to pay all of those off in
Thank you for
2024.
that.
If you have a
10
car
credit cards?
loan or 10 credit cards, maybe that's a goal to pay off in 2024. But the biggest thing I think agents miss when we're goal setting is understanding how much money it takes monthly to just pay for your life. We always have this question during Business Planning Clinic of, well, do I start paying myself a salary? When do I set up a separate entity? Right now, I just deposit everything into my personal bank account and I don't really know where that money goes. And then taxes happen. And we're going to get through all of that on Friday. But between now and then, if you can just go through your online banking and look at how much money you spend on your mortgage, on a car payment, on utilities, on groceries, on entertainment and a social life, and then how much of that comes from your partner if you have one, and how much of that falls on you. So you have a minimum, like in order for my world to turn, I need this much money every month. And then on Friday, we're going to back into, okay, account for your business expenses, your taxes and all of that. So we'll back into that. But if you don't know how much money it takes for you to just keep gas in your car and keep your lights on, it makes Friday a whole lot harder because you're just kind of throwing a dart at the wall. So if there's one thing you do before Friday, that would be my one thing.
I agree.
And then that get out of debt. Just think about how much debt you want to pay off in the next 12 months, not necessarily how much debt you want to pay off, or maybe in the next few years, and we'll chunk it down into next year. But
Yeah. This is the there's always this strategy of, do you think big and just turn that into zero? Or do you try to bite off a manageable chunk? Out of that probably depends a little bit on how much debt there is out there for you, but I would tell you be more aggressive with it than not. Our goal at Business Planning Clinic is to give you the nuts and bolts in terms of how to make all of that happen. So Business Planning Clinic shows you, here's my lifestyle, how to get out of debt. Here's how much money I need. Now it's going to tell you how hard you have to work. And that's going to be up to you whether or not you want to work hard enough to get to that spot. So choose as big or as little as you want based on how hard you want to work.
Your business expenses annually. I don't know the last time anybody went through and just audited their business expenses. I feel like we go through that every few months right now at the Market Center, and every few months I get an email from Adam. Does anybody use this? Can I shut this off?
No.
And most of the time the answer is, we don't even know where that came from. So yes, shut it off. But going through your business expenses and understanding if you paid X amount of dollars in Zillow or Realtor.com or any leads last year, go through and add up that expense, and then also go through your sales and add up how many sales you had from that. Because one of the things we're going to talk about is an ROI on all of those business expenses that you have. So spend a little bit of time just going through your business expenses. Hopefully that doesn't take too much time, because hopefully your business expenses are separate from your groceries and all of that. If you are swiping the same card to get groceries as you are to pay your dues, the thing you want to do before Friday is go to the bank and open a separate checking account. Okay, and then your average commission amount. This is a pretty easy thing to grab. If you've been with Keller Williams for most of this year, you have this in your multi-year trends, and we talk about multi-year trends all the time. But we don't always show you how to get to them. So thankfully, Minu is kind enough. How do I get rid of this? Oh, wait,
Rid of what?
this bar at the top. So that I can,
I don't know the answer to that.
I
I think the bar just shows up for you, not for everyone else.
there we go. Okay.
That's weird.
If you go to, if you go to mykw.kw.com, and you log in with your command login, this is what your home screen is going to look like. Mine's going to look just a tad bit different because I have a leadership login, but this page looks the same. Click on access my reports in the middle, and you're going to get this screen. I don't need to do a Microsoft update right this minute. Go down to reports, associate, and then you can, oh, yes, this is very annoying. And then you're going to go to your multi-year trends right here. I'm going to go to associate production lookup. Oh, I should have just stayed on that. And then you can see if you can go through all of those reports and look, but your multi-year trend report is the one that we want to focus on. This is the one we'll use the most for any of the calculations that we're going to do on Friday. And of course, this.
Click on the
It's gonna take
one
forever.
report to the left on that tab. Was that already open?
I should have just kept it where I was. Okay. So here is, thankfully Minu said it was okay to share hers. God, I can't read. Okay, there we go.
I have some
Multi-year
glasses in my bag. If you want them.
Apparently I need them. Okay, so here's what your multi-year trend report looks like. This is gonna give you all of the language of real estate categories that we talk about every month. This is gonna give you most of those categories. So your closed units, you can see here. These are all of the units you've closed by month. Now, keep in mind, these are when Adam processes your closing. So if you maybe didn't do compliance for 2 months and then you processed all of them in one batch, your numbers might be skewed a little bit. So this does not, right, Adam? This does not go by closing date. This goes by Adam's processing date. So either way, your numbers should be right year to date, but they could vary a little bit by month. if you track them like in the MLS as well or something. Your closed volume, your listings taken and your listings taken volume.
Two things that are helpful about this report. The first time you look at it, this may help you as you start into this goal setting conversation. You're going to get the opportunity to look at what your results look like month over month and year over year. You've heard us talk about that for a long time, but if I look up, if I look at, I don't know why it's sticky. If I look at just listings sold for Minu, right? You can look at this in 2023 and you can go, man, month over month, she was down 40%. Year to date, she's down 12.9%. What do you guys know about the market in terms of listings sold? It's off about 25%, right? So I also know you can look at this and go, Minu is far outperforming the market based on what that is, right? So you don't want to look at all these and just go, oh, those are negative numbers are bad. Obviously, we have this conversation with ourselves every month.
You can also jump down and go, okay, look at Minu's buyers. She's up 200% month over month in units, 484% month over month in volume. So she had an awesome September. And then you look at her year over year and she's up 25% year over year in buyers, up 13% in volume. So as Minu is going to set goals for the next year, maybe she wants to take into account that she's become a little bit more buyer heavy given the market. Minu is typically a listing heavy agent, but given the market, she's gone a little bit buyer heavy. So that's understanding that helps her to set goals for next year so that you're not working against your goals all year. Her average sale price, this is something that most agents will just use on Friday. We throw out our office average sale price, Adam, is right around 200, 215. That's not an accurate number for everybody. That is an average. So Minu would want to use an average sale price of 298 is her, 367 is her year-to-date average sale price. 298 is over the life of her multi-year trend report. So her average sale price is up 14% year-to-date. So Minu gets to say, okay, looking back on the year, did I have a couple just really high sale prices where I don't think it's going to be up that much. I want to go back down to 315. I think that's probably more accurate. Or there's just been an increase in home values in Bloomington Normal. And I feel like this is a very solid price point for me.
For sure. And strategically, you're going to be able to look at this and be able to say, hey, do I want to take it down a notch next year, right? Market may demand that you take your numbers down a notch. Or do you want to ratchet it up? Maybe you decide you're going to go work with some luxury buyers so that you can work more efficiently or less harder. All of those strategies are out there. What we're going to do on Friday is help you break these numbers down so that we can make very specific strategies and set goals around them.
Yep. Drag this. I changed the sequence. If you want
She gave me the idiot style. I appreciate that very much. All right. So what this doesn't have on it that I was hoping to see was the average commission. Go ahead.
Just figure out.
What I was going to do,
It's not on there.
it's not what we can calculate.
So we can calculate your average commission using your closed sales volume and your GCI. So are you doing that right now?
Yeah, I missed. Oh, yeah, no, I got it. Appreciate you. All right. Anybody, what happens inevitably on Friday is that we're going to ask everybody to write in their average sale commission. You know what everybody says? Oh, 3%. I never discount anything. I always take 3%. Some of the Peoria agents are going to go, no, I get 7% for my listings, right? So we're making way more. Okay, great. Maybe that's true. When I calculate out Minu's, it comes to about 2.8% as an average. So remember, if you sell new construction, you get a little bit less. If you have a repeat seller, maybe you gave them a discount on their say it for
On
me.
their listing?
Thank you.
Maybe if you bring the buyer to your own listing, you give them a % back. There's all kinds of reasons. Some of our co-ops sitting out there right now are 2.5 instead of 3.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of reasons. A for sale by owner, maybe you did a for sale by owner for 2% instead of 3. There's all kinds of reasons, and our office average commission rate hovers right around 2.8.
Yep.
So, so Minu's right in line with that. To say you always get 3%.
And
is
it matters, right? I mean, so at the end of the day, you need to know what is it that's coming. Don't forget, there may be some pressure come up on commissions over the next 12 months.
You see that question, Lisa asked,
I made it disappear and now I don't know how to bring it
she
back.
asked if the average sales price of like referrals, which, there's a metric that, scroll down, which takes away referrals.
So Lisa, to answer your question on referrals, no, your average sale price does not reflect
Yeah.
referrals.
You go back up, you'll see average sales price, good leases.
There you go.
There you go. So no, your average sale price right there in the middle excludes all of your leases and referrals.
I'm sorry, GCI divided by closed sales volume.
So if you are able, this is a great report to print out and bring with you on Friday. Because a lot of these things, I don't know how to get back to that screen now. Because a lot of these things we're gonna talk through on Friday, and if you have this printed out and with you, you can just do the math right along with us. So as much of this as you can do ahead of time is great, but we're also gonna go through this on Friday. If you look right here, this asks you how many listing appointments you went on in the last year. I'm guessing a lot of you probably don't track appointments. I'm also going to say most of you probably know how many listing appointments you went on this year that you didn't get. So you could always just go to your listings taken number on your multi-year trend report and add in the handful
Yeah.
or whatever that you didn't get. And that's gonna tell you how many appointments you went on.
A lot of my appointments get calendared. So even though I may not track them in terms of I went on 5 last month, I can go back to my calendar months and be able to see I went on this listing appointment. I can tell you my listing appointments. Buyers don't always show up as appointments. Most of the time they do, but sometimes it'll be if I get a call, somebody wants to see something at 2 o'clock, I probably don't put that on my calendar because I'm just that good. I don't need a calendar that way. Right?
Right.
Appreciate your support.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a report you can run in Supra that shows how many times you opened a lockbox.
Would showing time give me any of that?
Showing time might give you, as long as they were
On Thursday at 1 o'clock.
Thursday at 1 o'clock, showing time training. Number of listings sold last year that we just went through that, number of buyers sold, those you can find on your multi-year trend report. Number of names in your database. If you use Command, it's really easy to go in and see how many contacts you have. If you use Brivity or Sync or another CRM, I'm sure there's a way you can see how many contacts you have in there. But that's gonna matter when we get into your lead generation model. And we want to diagnose if there was a gap this year in your goals. We want to be able to diagnose, is it because there's not enough contacts in your database to get you to your goals? Or is it because we're not effectively communicating with the contacts that we have? We also want to do an audit of the quality of contacts. Are these METs? Are these people that know, like, and trust you, that will pick up the phone when you call? Or is this what we call a pond of cold leads that we're calling a database that we may need to scrub and just weed out the ones that don't want to talk to us?
And to be fair, people that you don't talk to are not in your database, right? So this would be I would take a very specific group of people that says they know who you are. You have to have their name. You have to have at least an email address, right? So there's a whole bunch of people in my phone that don't really qualify as database. Don't come and say, well, I have 3,000 contacts in my phone. That's not your database.
Right. Also, if you have the board of realtors in your database because you communicate with them when you have a new listing or whatever, those are not contacts that are going to generate business for you.
So there's
Those-
1,000 people between Bloomington and Peoria I have to take out because,
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're not gonna use you to buy,
Understood.
sell, or invest in real estate.
if I'm really good, they will.
Doubtful. And then this is just, my team consists of me, and whether this is a goal of where you see this going in 12 months, or this is where you're at right now. Obviously, we want to be thinking about the structure of your team, and when we're goal setting, we want to make sure that we're, as teams all set goals a little bit differently. We're gonna get into that a little bit on Friday. But as you're setting goals, you need to be mindful of whether you're just setting your own personal goals or you're setting goals for your team. So this is an interactive document. I hope that each of you will I think this takes an hour to fill out. The only reason I say an hour is it might take you a little bit of time to answer number 1 and number 2. 3 through 9 will take 5 minutes. But spend a little bit of time and understand what your expenses are, because oftentimes agents that have a killer year even get to the end of the year and go, why don't I have any money in my bank account? And it's because 1 and 2 were not calculated. We didn't accurately calculate what our expenses are.
Or my lifestyle.
Or our lifestyle, or what we want our lifestyle to be. And human nature, when we make more money, what happens to our lifestyle? We adjust it up because we see money in our bank account. So as soon as we start making more money, we adjust our lifestyle up. And then the market slows down
Oops,
and we either have to adjust our lifestyle back down
which is hard, right? I
or we
mean,
have to adjust our activities.
yeah, a lot of the pain that we feel is this whole sense of, oh my gosh, right? You mean I'm gonna have to drop the country club now because I'm not making as much money? That's painful.
Mhm. It is. So we're gonna spend a fair amount of time on Friday, making sure that we're setting goals that are not just, hey, I think I want to sell 10 million this year. That sounds like a good number. Spend some time with number 1 and number 2 so that we're setting meaningful goals. Okay, any thoughts or questions about this? I really don't. wanna get through.
Go back to Zoom. Yeah. That was my best idea.
Well, any thoughts or questions about this while I figure out how to use Zoom?
None?
None?
Everybody's terrified. Everybody's going, I wasn't gonna do it anyway, so appreciate the recap, but
Hey, you guys, I put in the chat. Can you hear me?
yeah.
Mhm.
I hope you do the net worth model because like that was life changing for me. Is that a part of this on Friday or no? Just that little, you
Like
got us
net worth-
thinking,
Like the net
Like-
worth calculator?
yeah,
Yeah.
I had never done that until your business planning. And it was kind of like eye-opening and scary 2 years ago, and then it's fun to watch it grow a little.
You know what's interesting? Yeah, and yes, the net worth conversation will be part of what we talk about on Friday. It wasn't until a handful of years ago that I started focusing not on income, but on net worth. And it's wild how it changes your goals, but quite honestly, it's changed my outcomes, right? Because it really shapes how you use money, or it shaped how I use money. And so, yes, Lisa, I will make sure that we get through that as well.
I like that. Anything else that you guys want to make sure that we go through? Yeah, Minu.
What Lisa just said was so true to me, for me also. Before Keller Williams, I never paid attention to the net worth, ever, never paid attention to all this business planning and everything. It has really changed a lot. So that's a very, very good conversation to help
Yeah.
agents not only do good in their business and do great things, and bringing more money for their families, for themselves, but at the same time, finding the right way of channeling that money. Because we can make $1 million and we can blow $1 million very easy. But it's how you think about it and then you invest it, and within 10 years' time, you will see so much growth that you will surprise yourself. How did that happen? But that all come with thoughtful thinking and planning, which you guys have taught us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good reminder. Oftentimes we look at our income and that's our gauge of success. And so we are going to spend some time on understanding what our net worth is and how we calculate that. Any other thoughts, questions, things you want to make sure we do on Friday? All right, well, reminder, it is at 9 o'clock Friday morning. You've gotten a couple of emails. I know you got one this morning. Please go RSVP so we know who we'll have for lunch. Or you can put it in the chat right now and Adam will make a note of it. But we hope to see you all on Friday. Any wants or needs?
It's Amber.
Go Amber.
I finally have a listing coming on. Um, it is 3 bedrooms, could be 4, used to be 4, but then they took down a wall in the basement, but it could be 4, 3 full bath, 1 half bath, just under 3,000 square feet. I've been working my tail off to get it ready. It looks really cute. 300,000 out in Heartland Hills. Okay, thanks, bye.
Amy, do you have something?
I have a ready buyer right now for 400 to 500,000. If anything has any pocket listing coming up in Unit 5 schools, that'll be great to let me know.
Anybody else? All right. Have a great day, guys. We will see you on Friday.